Hi, this is Dan Pigott from LePage, Sussex, Pigott Properties, and welcome to your August market update. Now, for the second month in a row, Greater Vancouver Realtors, which is the real estate board, has announced that we're seeing early indicators that we are on the path of recovery in the real estate market. Now, I find this to be a very interesting news release for 2 months in a row when everything we read in the media is that the housing market is virtually upside down because listings are up and sales are down. Now, why is the real estate board showing some positivity in this time? Well, what we're seeing is a normalizing when you look at the year-over-year data. What I mean by that is when you look at listings from July of last year to July of this year, the difference is not as great as it was when we were comparing, for example, April to April. Same with sales. They're down year over year, but the differential and the percentage of decrease is not as great as it was in the spring market. Why is this? Well, 2024, we had a decent spring market and it really slowed in May and June. That's when we saw the listings start to rise and the sales drop. And so we're now 12 months into this cycle. So some of the normalizing in year-over-year data is just because we've been in the same market and the market's not shifting as much underneath us. The values reflect something similar as well. Lots of the reports out there is if you look at the housing price index, which is something the real estate board sets, the numbers aren't up. We're looking at a pretty level marketplace. But as someone who's working in the market day to day, you have to remember that average sales price, housing price index, all those indicators do tend to lag a little bit. And we definitely are seeing a reduction in values in the last several months. It's area to area, some are 3 to 5%, some areas we're seeing as much as 10% or more reduction in price. So what's that mean for you? If you're thinking of selling, you want to know what your values are, give me a call. We'll sit down, we'll go through exactly what's happening in your neighborhood with your type of property because they all vary depending on neighborhoods and depending on you're in a condo or detached or a townhouse. Now, there is a bit of information to report on the buyer side of things. We're seeing a lot more activity at the open houses and with showings in the month late in July and the first parts of August. It seems that a lot of the buyers are realizing that there is good opportunity here. They're out kicking tires, looking at what the values are, what's available. And the question is, are these buyers going to jump and take the plunge, or are they just going to continue to do their own market research for a while? You'll have to stay tuned for September to see where they land on that. Now, the other thing I'll point out with buyers is buyers are frustrated right now. There's not a lot of new product, even though, yes, listings are in a 10-year seasonal average high that we've seen. But the reason is the summer is always slow. We see the listings typically taper off in July and August, the new listings so buyers hang in there. Come September, there should be a wave of listings and a lot more opportunities for you to look at and possibly take the plunge. So once again, if you have any questions about the market, we are here to help. Give me a shout. Happy to sit down with you anytime. In the meantime, stay safe, enjoy the rest of the summer. We'll talk to you again in September.